Hello, I have two ladies in the studios with me to discuss the topic for today, and I would want to point out that just because they are ladies and their submissions are relevant to the topic doesn't mean that men do not suffer from some of the things they are going to say on the show. Nevertheless, it's very important to have a relationship as an intern, an employee, and an employer. This brings us to the topic for today, from intern to employee, the struggle. We know that in every society or in every dispensation, there are good things, there are bad things. There are people who suffer more and people who suffer less. Some get abused. But at the same time, it also helps the individual to have a growth or have a development. So in the studios with me are the two ladies, as I already said. So I have here Miss
Princess McCaffrey. I'm a journalist and a presenter.
Thank you for honoring the invitation. And I have also here
Rodieta Dai, I'm an office assistant.
You can see there are two ladies who are doing jobs or doing respective roles in the companies where they work. And like I said, it doesn't mean men don't go to what they are going to talk about. I have to indicate that. So first of all, we are talking about from intern to employee and then the struggle. So we want to establish who do we refer to as an intern. So I would like to start with Princess McCaffrey.
Okay, as for me, an intern is a person who works temporarily for an organization but he's not entitled to gain benefit or for permanent employees, like they don't gain the benefit that permanent employees get in the company or in the organization.
Okay, so Rodiat, your submission.
I think an intern is someone who has signed on with an organization, a structure, a company, even a startup to gain work experience for a brief period. So the period is determined. It can be for 1 month, 2 months, 3 or 6.
Okay, a very good submission. I think even in general, it is a stage where almost every person who becomes an employee or an employer goes through, because whether you've studied a course, whether it's a professional field, informal or formal sector, there's always a stage where you garner some of the skills that will be required of you. But somebody will say, well, you are not entitled to what the employers get, as employees get. Some will also say your period is just 1 month, 2 months, and the rest. So what is the importance of an intern, or how important is their role?
I think the importance goes both sides. Okay. It's important for the intern and then for the organization, because the intern will bring out new ideas, skills that he will develop the country and then the organization, the organization or the company. So his idea maybe may bring out something new or something that the organization doesn't have, or he can even go out to do publicity for the organization on social media or his handles, and then he on the other side will get the good skills, the job experiences to go out and work in other organizations too.
Okay, so it's very crucial to have those people at a particular stage. So what is your submission?
I think interns are playing primary roles. So they are assisting the already existing team, they are learning, and they are also gaining experience. So yes, to add to what the lady said, this is what I find.
Now, I want to establish something. When they are assisting the people, definitely the people they are assisting, like she established, are employees already, which means they may already be enjoying some of the benefit that the interns wouldn't do. That aside, what are some of the challenges, I want to start with you, that the intern face, the major challenges you think they face as interns?
For the challenges, I think we need to have it two ways. Okay. If you are an intern and you are getting paid, the challenges are not the same like someone who is not getting paid. Yes. So for someone who is getting paid, I think the challenges are just going deeper. Like you have a competition between, interns and the full-time employees. You have, overworking, like they think maybe you are there to snatch their work from them, and they will be giving you work that they are supposed to do, you see? And also, we have harassment. That's very important and is common. So you can have physical harassment, verbal, sexual harassment. So I think these are the major challenges that interns do have.
Before I move to Princess Mark, I also want to point out that men are also harassed, whether sexually, verbally, or even physically. Let's not say only women are harassed because we have women on the show. So, from your perspective, what are some of the challenges?
The challenges, I'll go with Rodiat when she said that they become errand boys and girls. So they are those that are there before them because they think they are there before them, so they can send them on errands, go and buy me this, go and do this, go and do that, and all that. It's also part of the challenges. And one thing is that you feel bored. They will not give you the kind of job they are supposed to give you because they think you are not qualified to that, and you are there for a short period of time, so you are not supposed to do things that they're supposed to do, and it will make you lose self-confidence in yourself, because when they are not giving you the opportunity to come out and talk, you'll be in your corner, and then you end up not learning from them.
So let me just chip this in. Is it something you are speaking from a personal experience?
Yeah.
No, I would want to know.
Yeah. I can say that.
Okay. So, Miss Roda, do you have similar?
Yes, it's true. It's true, because some may be thinking that, this guy is not supposed to be here. So let me be sending him or her for some errands so that he doesn't come and learn to snatch my work from me. That's what I was saying. People are afraid that you are there to snatch their work from them. You see?
This even brings me to the other aspect, like the question and answer session we're about to do right now. When we talk about competitive hiring, it means that even within you as interns and even with the employees separately or together, there's always that struggle that, well, is there room? I have to do I have to do extra. You spoke about extra work.
Yes.
So what about me who wants to do the extra so that I can stand out? So that at the end of it, I will be selected. What do you think about the competitive hiring? As an intern, how do you manage between those fields?
It depends, if the work they are giving you to make you work extra is based in the company, like it's just concerning the work you are there to do, then fine. But sending people for errands, buy me this, go and buy me food, go and buy, it doesn't have anything to do with what you are there for.
I understand.
You understand, right?
I understand, but when even in school we learn social skills.
Yes.
So at the workplaces we also learn social skills. Sometimes we build interpersonal relations.
Yes.
So maybe the person sending you to go and do something that is not officially work, it's also one of the ways to see if this person has that interpersonal relationship skills with other people. I'm not accepting the fact that I know people can abuse it though, but I mean it's possible that maybe the pen might fall here. I will say, "Oh, come and take it from you," whilst I'm still sitting here.
You see,
it's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
People still
exactly.
do it. People still
you
do
see.
it. So, what is your perspective?
I think employers have to understand that the interns are there for a period of time, and then they have to give them the opportunity to make mistakes, and from their mistakes they will learn and then build their own future from their mistakes. So it's not a matter of like coining them to like making them sit at one place, not giving them the opportunity to come out and then express themselves.
But there are some people also that are, unfortunately, we don't have an employee here on the set with us. Maybe we'll do another session where we'll have an employee here. But from my understanding of research, if I could say, sometimes some people also come and then they wait until they are told.
Before.
But one other reason that they may do that is because they may be new to the system where they are working. So maybe that will be in the defense of the interns. But on the contrary, at some point you will have to not even prove yourself, but put yourself out there to force to do something. Because imagine you come and then every day they just say, go and buy me food, go and bring water, and you're also doing it. At the end of it, it's not just the interpersonal relationship that I was talking about you have to build. You have to also build the working life. Because when you live there, or when you're even employed there now, imagine the person who used to send you, go and come, and then you are now employed. The person is a senior there in you, like ahead of you in some way. The person still sends you don't want to go, another will say, oh, now you've been employed, so you have been a bit difficult and all that.
No, the thing is, what I want us to understand is that as soon as you are doing maybe 90% of the work the company is supposed to do, no problem. The 10% can go for, the errands and everything. But if you divide it into two, like 50% for the work the company is supposed to do and 50% for the errands and everything, it's not helping the intern. Yeah. You understand? But if it is 90%, imagine we are supposed to come and work from 8 till maybe 4 p.m. So if from 8 till maybe 3 p.m. we did all we need to do for the company, and from that 3 p.m. you are sending me for errands, I can understand. But I cannot just come to work and you sending me for errands from maybe 8 till...
And one thing is that in school, we get theoretical things at school. So we are now doing the internship to build up ourselves and then get that practical thing and do more of practicals.
Exactly.
So if you are sending us, when are we going to learn? And then
the company can't blame your school for not having the practicals for you. Let's also put that across.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So, okay, now let's move on to the limited openings.
Okay.
You have done, let me say, the 90% of the office work and then the 10%. Someone too may have done 50% of the office work, 50% of the other one. Now, how do you manage between the limited openings in terms that, yes, after the internship, they will want to employ 5 people, and the number of people that came to do the internship are like 15 or 20. How do you manage in between trying to get selected within that 5 people that they need? How would you deal with such a situation?
Everyone has their way of doing things. So I can decide to prove myself, doing some little thing that will help me get the position. Not in the bad way. Yeah. Not in the bad way. Yes. People may be thinking that, okay, let me say it. People may be thinking that I want to maybe give my body to someone to get the position or anything. I'm talking about the positive side of the thing. So I may decide to do some of the little thing to prove myself. That's it.
Now, earlier too, before I get to you, we were talking about competitive hiring too, but there's something I forgot to mention. You spoke about the person having that chance to be able to articulate themselves or bring themselves forward. But there are also situations where, because you're an intern, the responsibility they have to give you, they reduce it. But I will come to that point when we get to the responsibility aspect. So what is your submission in terms of the limited openings? As in, there's no immediate employment, or you're supposed to make a cut. Out of 15, they need only 5 people. How do you find yourself in?
Like Rodia said, I need to prove myself. Like, I can do it. I can do it best. Maybe, even if they don't ask me to do something and I know the thing is supposed to be done,
yes,
I'll do it to gain some points from my employer or my boss. Yeah. So it's important to prove out myself, bring out myself out for people to know that, yes, I can also do it and do it better than others.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so those little things we are talking about, maybe you come early and you wait. If they are asking to do something, you do it without, frowning your face. Those are little things.
Always smile.
You see?
Frowning, not frowning as an intern is like, it's an impure. You can't say you wouldn't frown.
You can decide to even buy food to your boss. Maybe
hey, that one is bribing. That one is bribing.
Okay, now let's move to the imposter syndrome. I'm going to be very particular about this one because it's something that I have noticed from my other experiences in terms of intern or as a worker. You see, sometimes you're in a field where either you just don't understand whatever they are being taught, or you are there and the things that people do, you ask yourself, well, what I learned in school, what I'm seeing is actually how things are supposed to be done. Or there are certain times where you are in the middle and then you do this thing, they say that's not how it's supposed to be done. Then you begin to question yourself, well, did I choose the right course? Am I in the right company for my internship and all that? How do you mitigate or handle yourself in such a situation?
I think there's 2 ways.
Okay.
First, you need to take some steps back.
Okay.
Think. You think about it, you rethink. And if it's still not okay with you, you relocate. You relocate if you have the chance, because there are some companies or some university you are compulsory to you are compelled to do that internship. Okay. So if it is in that case, you can just take some step back, think, find ways to find yourself in what people are doing. But if you are not forced to, you just think about it and you relocate. Maybe you feel better somewhere else.
So the feeling like you don't belong, how do you deal with it?
I think for that, you have to share your opinions with others. What you think
Okay, by
is
others, like the employees?
the employees around you or people that are there before you. And then build up your self-confidence. Be able to be bold enough to talk and then defend yourself in some situations. And then also stop comparing yourself to others.
No. This is something, you see, that's why I started with the competitive hiring and the limited openings. For you to evaluate if you will make the cut, no matter how we want it, you have to equate yourself to somebody. Even in class,
Yes.
they call the number, they are calling the names of those who pass. You are just waiting for your own, Then finally they mention your own. Then you are looking at somebody, when are they going to mention this guy's name? Because in your mind, if this guy passed me, then it means me I'm bomb, like I'm not good, you see. So the comparison, I don't think it's something we can do away with.
It has to be positive, not negative.
That's one very difficult thing to do, you know. No, I mean, we are trying to, inform and advise people and all that, but that's something very difficult to do. Because even ourselves, as here on the set, for example, sometimes I may be evaluating the submission you are making, the submission she's making, even within yourself, whether subconsciously or consciously, you might even, am I really making points?
Yes.
See, it is something innate.
It's okay, but the thing is, you don't need to put too much pressure on yourself. You do it. You can do the comparison thing, but not with too much pressure. Don't stress yourself. Come on.
You've already been an intern. I think it's already stressful. The stress
it's stressful.
Being an intern
Don't add
actually
it.
the
Don't
stress.
add some stress on it.
Even sometimes coming to work, you think, hey, what am I coming to do today?
Yeah.
Will it be okay for my boss, or will he like what I'm going to do?
Yes, the stress is already there, so you should not add some. You see?
Okay, so now we are moving to the responsibility aspect, and I want to put it in two ways.
Okay.
First of all, there's limited responsibility, and then there's increased responsibility. Limited responsibility in the sense that because you're an intern, some people believe they are company secrets. There are some in-doings in the company you shouldn't be privy to.
You're making a point.
So with that perspective, there are certain things or certain limits they put you.
Yeah.
There are certain documents, when they give it to you, they put it in an envelope, for example, they seal it. But you're just going to give to somebody just in the next office. Because they don't want you to see the content or spy on it, they sort of enclose it. That is just one example for the limited responsibility. Now, the increased responsibility is where she spoke about, and I think you spoke earlier about a limited time.
Yes.
So because they know they have to, I don't want to use the word use, but exploit you within that limited amount of time, they are going to send you water, food. Printing, pen will drop. Every second you're always on the move. How do you deal with such situation?
It depends. Like, it depends. It depends. Yes, everything is on dependent. It depends. Things that are working with me is not forcefully working with you.
Exactly.
So you just find a way. If you are not compelled to stay there or do it, you leave, you relocate. But if you are forced to,
it's easy to, the system doesn't really allow that freedom.
It's easy.
Really?
It's just that it works or it doesn't work. If you are forced to stay there, okay, you deal with it. That's what I'm saying. You deal with it. But if you are not forced to do that internship, you leave, because you start having, those mental issues. It's also important. It depends. What will work with me is not forcefully working with you. You see?
Now, about the limited responsibility, how do you handle that? Because you spoke earlier about trying to do something that will make you stand out and all that, but imagine, let me use an example of, she's a presenter, so maybe a news bulletin, for example. Sometimes you are asked to go and do report and all that. Imagine as an intern, you've never gone to do report. There's 3-6 months you've been there.
Okay.
You only see how the story is crafted, how the person goes on screen and read and all that. It means you've gotten that aspect of it. But before you come, you have to prepare something, and you've not had any experience. Because you are limited to getting some access to some of the information that you will do, or some of the skills you need to acquire. How would you handle that? Well, you as an office assistant, so I know you deal with documents that are top secret and all that.
Good. That's where the research will come in.
Okay.
You need to be making some research. You maybe need a mentor, but it's not that compulsory, because you don't want people to know that you don't know. It's also something, you see. So you can go, you make some research. It's all those things. It depends. It always depends.
Okay, so what is your point on that?
I think you need to have a can-do attitude. You have to empower others for them to like to follow you or help you in those
They will
cases.
label you the rebel.
Exactly. Exactly. They will say
And
we were here before you come
Exactly.
and you want to
But
just
use those opportunities to steal from them. You'll
No.
be stealing from them and they would be thinking maybe you don't know or you are not aware of what you are doing, but
Okay.
you know exactly
But
what
you
you
know,
are doing.
It is true. I mean, that's a very good tactic, though. You know, some people actually learn from afar. But imagine at the end of all those things, the same person is supposed to fill in your report for your internship. And you know the things, but because it hasn't been exhibited, the person is trying to be nice at the same time, trying to be truthful, because whatever you put on paper is also going to represent you, the person who signed it off. But let's now move to office politics, which is one of the other major problems. The bureaucracy, the norms, the regulations that does not favor the intern and even the employee. I want you to give me an example, like an experience you had yourself dealing with bureaucracy. Not necessarily specific to where you
no
are working
problem.
now, though.
You know, I'm an office assistant, and I am supposed to assist maybe directly the boss. You see, but it's like I become the assistant of everyone.
Everybody.
You
Yes,
see,
yes.
you see. So it's difficult. I am not an accountant, but I may be doing the work of an accountant. I am not an HR, but I will be doing the work of an HR. So you see, I am not a manager, but I'll be managing everything. So these are little, but still, it helps you if you know how to deal with it. It helps you gain more experience. Here I am now. I am not an accountant, but if we are talking about finance and things like that, I maybe have, some little points. It's also important.
Okay, so as the journalist and the presenter, we are talking about bureaucracy.
Yeah, I think you don't come to work to just learn what you learned in school or what you are up to do. So you
Yes.
need to learn some tactics or some things that you don't know. Maybe you are a journalist and you don't know how to go about news editing and all that. But there's someone in the office that knows how to do those things. You can go to the person and then you talk to the person, maybe respectfully, and ask the person to help you learn that. Or maybe you don't know how to do montage and all those things, but there is someone who knows how to do it.
Me, I want to know more like a personal experience, whether here or wherever you've worked at before. How do you deal with the bureaucracy in terms of things that you are restricted from doing or that you are doing, but it is contrary to management or management is not accepting it? So there's always that, maybe because I'm the head of department, because I am this, there's always that pullback. How I want you to give me an example around that sort of bureaucracy.
Okay, I'll take an example of I did an internship in Ghana.
Okay.
Where I came to maybe settle as a journalist and all that. And I was given the role of accepting messages online and promoting the office or the company's image and all that. And I was like, this thing is very difficult. How can I go about it? How can I do it? So I was there, and then a lady there told me, she was like, if you don't do it, you get problem with our boss, so you might find a way to do it. And at that same time, I took my phone and I called my sister at home, and I was chatting with her, asking her how she can help me solve that problem. And she was like, this is a problem that you are facing. You can even go online and research about those things that you don't know, and then after that you can come out with something, and maybe you send it to me, I'll see through it and then send it back to you, and then you present it to your boss.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. You don't know how to do it, but you don't want people to know that
that
you
you
don't
know how to do it.
Yes. So Google is there.
Okay.
He's the best.
So viewers, we are still live on the Key Point, and we are talking about from intern to employee, the struggle. We will going for a quick break. When we come back, we are still live on the topic. So welcome back. You can follow the program every Tuesdays and Thursday at 10:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Catch a repeat on Sunday. And on YouTube is New World TV, the KEYPOINT playlist. And on Facebook is KEYPOINT with double I. So welcome back to the studio. I still have two ladies here with me, Princess McCaffrey and Rodiat Ajayi, an office assistant, a journalist, and a presenter. So we were talking about, we did a question and answer session. We're moving quickly to the transitioning from an intern to an employee. What are some of the skills or capabilities as an intern or as an employee you feel like the employer is looking out for? Because you spoke earlier about making the cut. So what are some of the skills, if you can give us some of the skills that
I think the first thing is to be on time.
Okay.
It's very important. You also need to be paying close attention to all the regulations, all the norms and politics of the office. And please, you need to be making the mistake you are going to make gently. Please. You need to be careful on that because, you know, as an intern, no problem. You can make mistakes. But, you know, don't go and do major things that will make them just sack you even from the internship, you see. And you also need to be asking questions. It's also important. You also need to be asking for feedbacks. You can go to your employer. Do you think this thing I did I do it well? So what do you think? How, like, what pieces of advice are you giving me to improve? So those things, those little things are very important.
I think I'll go with ask questions. You need to love to ask questions because sometimes they will
What
give
if you don't get the answers? Will you continue asking?
No, sometimes they will give you something to do. Maybe you don't understand it, but you're afraid of asking question. And you'll be there, you say, I can do it. And you go and do something else. And the person will come and then start shouting at you. Why won't you ask question instead of you going to do it, knowing that you can't do it? And you also need to build up a good relationship with the environment that you are working in. And very important to communicate your goals, your objectives with others.
Now, this is probably going to my own personal submission though, but in most companies that I have known or worked at, it is difficult for an intern or an employee to be able to build upon their career. Because there are instances where some of the employees or interns at some point, they are matched up with maybe a senior worker there. So they get the experience they need to acquire a little bit of it. There are certain times where they allow them to go for seminars, go for workshops and all that. So I want you guys to, help us understand or tell us a little bit of some of the opportunities that can help an intern develop their career. Maybe as an office assistant, for example.
I may say networking.
Okay.
It's very important because you are, even if you don't want it, you are obliged to meet people. That's where the networking starts. Networking is very, very important. Yeah.
So what about you?
I think some opportunities are when they send you for reportage and all those kind of like things. Maybe conferences, your employer is not around and then they send you to go. That's when you build, like, I'll go with networking too. That's when you build up relationship with other people and then you...
Now, before we wrap up, there's one very important thing you didn't mention at all. Issue of paying interns. I decided to wait till we get to this point before I bring this one out. Why haven't you mentioned anything about paying interns?
I told you that it always depends. You see?
This one is like there are two things involved situations.
Exactly. So, you know, some, because of their politics, they cannot pay you. I don't want to mention names because you see big organizations that are not paying people for internships. You see? So it depends. It depends.
But whereas, sometimes the interns do greater part of the job. They actually do
a
large part of the office work, actually.
Exactly.
Because all in the name of, getting experience. So in your view?
I think organization need to reconsider that thing. It's very difficult for you to dress up from the house, come to work like a month and then they will not pay you. It's very, like, sometimes you feel like crying. You are using your own pocket money for transport and everything. You are eating in that same money. And then they are not paying you at the end of the day. It's like...
Now, in defense of the employees, I am going to say something that many will agree or disagree with.
Okay.
I feel that there should be an appraisal in terms that maybe if the intern is going to spend 6 months at the company,
Yeah.
maybe every month there should be maybe they will go to the employee, maybe the employer, him or herself, or the HR, whoever is directly relating to the work of the intern, can come to the office maybe from time to time, ask questions. Because if you always want to take the perspective of the one who is the immediate superior or hierarchy, you might not get the real information you want. I'm saying this because some interns you still pay them, they will still not do anything. So in a way, you are wasting your salary or your money. So there has to be that categorization of the interns, the direct feedback, like you said, and all that, so that we don't put all the eggs into one basket.
Okay.
But our time is already gone, so I want to take, what is your advice, your final submissions on the topic?
People need to reconsider that internship thing, as she said it. I'm not saying that they should be paying exactly the same amount they are paying full-time,
not.
yes,
Definitely
full-time
not.
employees. At least something for transportation, maybe some little snack for the interns, things like that, just to help the intern feel good. Because if someone is feeling good at work, the results is positive. You see, so they need to reconsider that. And also people also need to just have a look at what they are giving the interns to do, because maybe the person is there for job shadowing.
Okay.
So if the mentor, job shadowing is when you come to a company, they give you a mentor to be assisting him, and later on you take the role of that person. So imagine you didn't get a good mentor. So they need to reconsider everything concerning that. If you give me a bad experience, I will go and repeat the same. You see, sometimes the intern are doing the work of the person who is supposed to mentor them. You see,
Exactly.
so these are things that I think they should reconsider. It's very important.
Okay, thank you very much for your final words.
Yeah, my final words. I think they need to stop that errand boy and girl things. It's very important, and not to give your job to the person that came to learn. Teach the person, let the person learn, and give the person opportunities to express him or herself. It's very important, and they pay. Oh, please, I beg each and every employer watching me right now to reconsider that part of the internship. It's very, very important.
I know we wouldn't say everything here. Definitely there are a lot of things you want to say, but time has limited us. So it is very important to know that internship is essential for both the intern, the employee, and then the employer, and they also have to have that frequent and open communication, have a good feedback and all that, because at the end, the interns are also making an input that is going to bring this company forward or give a success to the company. So it's very important that we appreciate the interns. And interns also, please, sometimes when we say you to go and buy food, go and buy food. It's part of interpersonal relationship. But at the same time, you should also be assertive at times, because at the end of the day, it's not buying food that is going to give you the experience you are looking for when you go to the working field. So we've come to the end of the episode of Key Point this week. We spoke about from intern to employee, the struggle. We know that amidst the struggle, there are also some rewards and all that. So never wither away from it. Try your best, do what you can do. The rest is up to the employer and God. So we meet you next week for another exciting episode. Thank you very much, and see you. Bye-bye.